Hi there. Welcome everyone to our next session of Meet the Members of Empower Africa. I'm excited and honored to host this terrific podcast. My name is Shai Bernstein. I'm VP of Business Development and Partnerships at Empower Africa. And as you can see, we're doing more and more of these because we have new amazing people joining our business community. I'm super excited about our guest today, which I'll get to in a moment. Before I present our distinguished guest, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, Empower Africa is a business community with a mission to drive investment, trade, and job creation in Africa. We believe in trade over aid, and that business is the best way to grow, build, and create sustainable and scalable solutions. We believe in bringing good people together. That's where the magic happens, and we believe in the power of synergy. Our goal is to create connections, optimize communication, and maximize on the collaboration. The business community brings together SMEs and startups, investors, banks, PEs, VCs, entrepreneurs, governments, multinational enterprises, all to one place so that we can enhance the communication and collaboration. Speaking of bringing good people together, it's my pleasure and honor to welcome a friend who we've actually had the privilege of meeting in person, which you don't always have today with COVID in the past year or so. I'd like to welcome Alejandro Marabi, Senior R&D Manager of PepsiCo. Alejandro, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Shai. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a real pleasure to be here. And I think it's a fantastic community, and I like what, synergies and people meeting is the only way to make things happen, I think. So if this is the basis, we are all in a good place.
100%. Very true. 100%. So please, Alejandro, tell us a bit about yourself.
Wow, long history, many years. So I was born in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and I spent all my childhood until I finished high school in Buenos Aires. And I think one of the main things about my profession today relates to those days where food had a very central place at everything. Right, at the family, at friends, at birthdays, everything. Not everything, but a lot of, how we grew up was related or was around food, and how we enjoy, and traveling for food and things like that. So this I don't remember exactly how, but at the age of 15, I decided that I want to understand what's going on with food, and I decided that I want to be a food engineer. So the passion is there now, I have to say, for more than 30 years. And when I finished high school, I decided to move to Israel to study food engineering. Wow. And this actually brought me here to this country, and I did my studies. And I started to look for opportunities, and the best thing that happened at the time that one of my professors offered me an internship in the US. So I didn't think twice. I packed a little suitcase and board the plane. Those were the days where we could do that without thinking, without jobs, without green passports or something like that. So this was my first experience at real life in terms of profession, and I was blessed to join Nestle at that time. So I did the summer internship, and this summer internship turned into a Master of Science in Food Science. Right. I did that in the US at the same time that I was doing research for the company. Then I came back and I really debated with myself what to do. I was not sure if I want to continue my studies or start working. Somehow I decided to go for a Ph.D. And I think, that was not an easy decision. I counted 10 years of studying, so it's a long journey. But today I have, not that I don't have any regrets. I'm so happy that I did that, because the level of understanding, the level of how you look at food, how you look at development, how you look in both, and for me, I have two parallel universes. One is the professional one, and one is the personal one, and both are related to food, as I like very much to cook. So for my PhD, I was lucky again, and Nestle offered me a position in Switzerland. where I did my research, and then I stayed for 6 years doing R&D for Nestle. And this was a fantastic time to build the foundations of my profession. Working in the biggest food company and working in the R&D labs in Switzerland, it's like a Disney World for a kid, right?
Right.
So these were great years, both personally and professionally, where uh, I was, you know, guided and mentored and taught by some of the best scientists in the topic. So this I think this gives you a foundation that you can take it anywhere later on.
Right. Fantastic.
So I spent with the company. I continue. Then they sent me back to Israel. I work on meat alternatives at the time where almost nobody was talking about this. If we,
Right.
today it's like uh, normal or even is taking center stage, all the meat alternatives and vegan and vegetarian alternatives. I work on that category when it was even difficult to convince marketing managers or category managers to invest in this category. So again, this was kind of ahead of time, but the knowledge and the science that stays with you after an experience like that is invaluable. Overall, I spent 15 years with the company, and at some point I decided to take another risk, and uh, I moved to do some consultancy. It was
Right.
the first years that the food tech was starting to grow here in Israel as an ecosystem. These were the years where a lot of new startups were coming with great ideas, with solutions, with crazy ideas. You know how a startup
Right.
should be. And I started working for many of the startups that work around alternative meats mainly, and new proteins. And I also was working for another startup working on sugar reduction, where I spent 2 years as a CTO. Again, working with great people and great topics, and really working on topics that we believe are at the very front of the industry, where you have to improve, you have to find better solutions for the people, for the nutrition of the people, for the planet.
Right.
And this is not only a professional reward, but it's also a personal reward, where you can really make a difference by using your knowledge, your capabilities, your experience, and so on.
Right.
And 2 years after that, it seems like the bug of corporate bite again, and I was again very lucky uh, to be offered the position where I'm today, which is with PepsiCo. And this position, I think, is one of the best seats that you can think about, because what I'm doing, I'm managing the external innovation for the company.
Right.
And this is, it's really a privileged place to see all the cutting edge
Right.
technologies and inventors and entrepreneurs and universities
Right.
and funds and
Yeah.
everyone pushing,
Yeah.
in the same direction, investing time,
Definitely.
resources, knowledge, risk, money. Everyone is really. I think we are at one of the best times in terms
Yeah.
of the industry, because you can really feel, not only see, but you can really feel that people are uh, uh, willing, to
Yeah.
do this together. And this,
Right.
as you said, doing it together has a completely different sense and a completely different chances of success that doing it with your competitors, right, or against your
Yes.
competitors. So the ecosystem, and I did a small study on ecosystems last year, and it's wonderful to see how ecosystems are created, why they succeed, what are the things that are needed for success. There are a lot of ecosystems in different, if you think about high tech or biomed or things like that. I'm not that familiar with those, but I can tell you
Right.
that the food tech and the ag tech ecosystems in many countries are some of the most developed ones, some of the most active. The amount of investment is that is
Right.
happening is huge, and this gives, people that are willing to, as I said, to invest from their time, their experience, their creativity, their entrepreneurship. This gives a huge push to these people, and this in turn brings opportunities to the corporate world, right? So
Definitely.
a lot of companies are now, you know, as we do, collaborating with some of these entrepreneurs,
Right.
looking for the best solutions, looking for, as I said, improving further our nutrition, our sustainability goals, and all this is possible today in ways that
Right.
didn't exist in the past, right? You did your thing, you try to
Right.
do the best you can, but today
Right.
you can choose from many different technologies, different approaches, things that you didn't think about, and people
Yep.
come up. You have a lot of cross fertilization between different disciplines, and this is, as you said, these synergies that happen not only between humans, but in the scientific realm, or in the engineering realm, or in the technological arena. These synergies and translating technologies or capabilities from one field to another, this is really accelerating
Yeah.
innovation and all the better things that we can do.
100%. 100%. Wow, that's great. And I think the combination, like you're saying, of the innovation and the just the sheer fact of food security, and I can totally relate, of course, about the food because I love cooking as well, and we're blessed that we can sit in our kitchen and cook with such amazing food, specifically in Israel, by the way, but also in other parts of the world, and of course, there's so many other areas, right, that are far from that, and it's amazing what innovation can do and is doing already with that whole ecosystem of food tech and ag tech and so on. So that's tremendous, amazing. Okay, so before we, sorry, did you want to say something?
No, I think another thing, another very positive thing is the acceleration that you see, because things happening, many years ago, something that happened in one geography or one
Right.
place, it took
Right.
very long time. And today, working globally, I can tell you that the acceleration and the transfer of knowledge or creativity from one place to the other is
Right.
almost instant. And this is the best thing that can happen. So we can all together work and improve upon each other to bring really the best solutions that are needed in the industry.
Amen. Very true. Very true. So before we sum things up, first, I mean, we ask, who would you like to be connected to? Who are you looking to collaborate with or to get to know, both on the Empower Africa business community and in general?
I think we are always looking for the best of the best in terms of entrepreneurs, for at least from my narrow lens of food tech and ag tech. So this we are always willing to connect and to others helping us connect, and this is our task. And I think Africa will have a key role to play has a key role to play.
Right.
So it is very important for us also to be able to connect with entrepreneurs and with startups and with funds. Every player in the ecosystem is something that we'll have to map and we'll like to understand, and we are always open to ideas or collaborations and
Yeah.
of course the person-to-person synergies that we talked before.
Yeah. Fantastic. Okay, wonderful. And before we sum things up, I always like to ask the guest to share a certain quote or saying that they resonate with and that they like. So please.
Yeah, of course we'll have to be connected to food. So I'm quoting Jean-Antoine Briand-Savarin from 1875, and he said, "The discovery of a new dish does more for human happiness than the discovery of a new star." And uh, with all respect to astrophysics, and other disciplines, but at the end of the day, I think the world today needs new dishes, and these new dishes, he was kind of a gourmand or a gourmet or things like that, and I think this was for him, the connotation here. But I think if we put this quote into today's reality, I think this new dish is first a dish for human, right, for humans. And second, this dish for me is part of our daily job of making food better for everyone.
Fantastic. Love it. All right, Alejandro, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Great pleasure.
Great. And we'll, of course, continue talking offline, but stay safe and healthy, and have a great day.
Same there. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.